What's up, YouTube and Facebook? Today we're going to talk about Hellenism. So what is Hellenism and Hellenistic cultures? You're going to find out about it today, and you're going to see why this is important, because we're practicing Hellenism today. And if you never heard of Hellenism, you're going to learn a lot today, especially if you're a Christian. The term hell that you use in the Christian church derived from this culture, which predates the Bible itself. This is going to be a very informative lecture for you right here. So brothers and sisters, stay tuned and get ready to learn some stuff that's very powerful, man. Knowledge is power. Many of you probably live in a city or heard of a city called Helena. I'm from Alabama. There's also a city called Helena, Montana. And the cities that's called Helena, which there's many of them, they get their name from this culture also. Or you may have a friend or European friend whose name is Hellen. You may know someone named Hellen, where they get their name from this culture. And this is also where we get the word hell from. And this is going to be a lot of information that you're going to find very, very useful. So stay with me and let's get right into it. So what is Hellenization or Hellenism? It refers to the spread of Greek culture that had begun after the conquest of Alexander the Great in the 4th century BCE. So BCE means before the common era or before Christ to you Christians. See, the thing about BCE and BC is that if you're a Muslim, then you can't say before Christ. So people relate their time and base their calendars on their religion. So if your religion ain't accurate, then your whole time frame, your whole system gonna be off. We'll get into that in another lecture. Let's stay on Hellenism. Now, we just read what Hellenization or Hellenism is. It's basically the spread of Greek culture. When the Greeks first rose to power, when no such thing as Christianity. What they had was Hellenism. And I'm about to get into that more right now. Stay with me. You can pull up, go to Google and pull up Hellenistic culture, and you can learn a lot about this stuff yourself. You'll see that we still in Rome, y'all. We still in this Hellenistic culture. Now, we just read what the definition of Hellenism is. It's basically just the spread of Greek culture. Now, in case you haven't known, America is a Greek society. But let's continue on. So let's get into a little more information about Hellenism, about the history of Greece and the Hellenistic culture. I got a little information with you to read, so stay with me. Now, if you saw my other lectures about the Council of Nicaea and about Serapis, you can tie them into this one, and you can see how we're still in Hellenistic culture today. You can tie all of this stuff in together and open your eyes and free your mind. Now listen to this. Here goes some more information I got for you about Hellenism. Check this out. The Hellenistic age marks the transformation of Greek society from the localized and introverted city-states to an open, cosmopolitan, and at times exuberant culture that permeated the entire Eastern Mediterranean and Southwest Asia. While the Hellenistic world incorporated a number of different people, Greek-thinking mores and way of life dominated the public affairs of the time. All aspects of culture took a Greek hue, with the Greek language being established as the official language of the Hellenistic world. So what they call the Hellenistic world, basically, if you're in any continent or land that's under Greek culture, then you're in a Hellenistic society. That would be America. For example, our culture comes to us from Greece. Most of the culture we get from this land comes from Rome and from Greece. All of Christianity comes from Rome and from Greece. Christianity is a Hellenistic religion. Now, as I go on into you, you're going to see plenty similarities between Christianity and Hellenism. And also, you're going to see plenty similarities between American society and Hellenism. And by the end of this lecture, you will be convinced that we are still in a Hellenistic society. So stay with me and let me read to you some more information about Hellenism. Now, basically where Hellenism is, I'm going to give you an example. When Rome was invading and going on crusades and conquests, that was called Hellenism. What you call a Christian crusades happened at a particular time in history. These crusades and this conquest for Rome to take over the world has been going on for a very long time. Now, we're talking about BCE right here when we're dealing with Hellenistic culture. What was Rome doing around the 300s BCE? They were still going around voyaging and conquesting the land. Now, all of this was before Christianity, y'all. This was during the Hellenism period. Christianity gets its whole ideology and philosophy from Hellenism. And by the end of this lecture, I'm going to prove to you that if you're a Christian, you really practicing Hellenism. Now, stay with me. Let's read some more information about Hellenistic culture that we living in today, because we all conquered under Rome. Now, check this out. Basically, y'all, Rome was warring with itself and with small little states, you know, amongst itself. But then Rome started uniting and going to take over the world. See, at first, Rome was more in a city-state type phase, where it was localized and introverted. But Rome had grew and became more cosmopolitan and started to spread its culture around the world. And this became to be known as Hellenism. And we still under it today. And I'm going to show you how all this tie in with Serapis and even Christianity and American society. Now let's get on. Let's get into some more information about Hellenistic culture. Now this is around the time of Alexander, 323 BCE. Now let me read some to you. The autonomy of individual cities of the classical era gave way to the will of the large kingdoms that were led by one ruler. As Alexander left no apparent heir, his generals controlled the empire. So in other words, you see where it say Alexander left no apparent heir. So it was confusion. It was like how the games are today, like when Tukey Williams died or whatever, how the games became like into different sets. So Rome was becoming more organized. Now let's read on. They fought common enemies and against each other as they attempted to establish their power. So Rome was warring within itself as it was still going out conquering the world. Let's keep reading. And eventually 3 major kingdoms emerged through the strife that followed the death of Alexander. So after this man died, it's talking about Alexander, strife and confusion followed because he left no heir. It was a bunch of different Roman sects that was trying to establish themselves and also conquer the world. So it was a dark time on the planet, y'all, and they call this the Hellenistic Period. And you can research all of this yourself. Let's keep reading. It say 3 major kingdoms emerged through the strife that followed the death of Alexander in 323 BCE and persisted for the most part over the next 300 years, which will be for today and all the way up into today also. Now I'm going to read some more for you. It say, Egypt and parts of the Middle East came under the rule of Ptolemy. Seleucus controlled Syria and the remnants of the Persian Empire, while Macedonia, Thrace, and parts of northern Asia Minor came under the hegemony of Antigonus and his son Demetrius. It says several smaller kingdoms were established at various times in Hellenistic Greece. Notably, the Attalid kingdom was formed around Pergamum in Eastern Asia Minor, and the independent kingdom of Bactria was created after Dionysius led a rebellion of Greeks there against Seleucid rule. Most of the classical Greek cities south of Thessaly and on the southern shores of the Black Sea remain independent. I know this is a little lengthy, y'all, but let's read a little bit more. This is some very important information. It say, several Greek cities became dominant in the Hellenistic era. City-states of the classical Greece like Athens, Corinth, Thebes, Miletus, and Syracuse continued to flourish. So it was an ancient city back in Hellenistic Greece called Syracuse, and they also got a Syracuse in New York. So y'all see that we still in Hellenistic culture over here in America, and I'm gonna show you some more. So Rome was thriving in sort of separated states. Rome was in a state-type state, for lack of better words. It wasn't this one unified Rome that y'all came to learn about in history just yet. During this time, Rome was in a very separated state-type phase. But let's read on. It say, none were more influential than Alexandria of Egypt, however. Alexandria was founded by Alexander the Great himself in 331 BCE and very quickly became the center of commerce and culture of the Hellenistic world under the Ptolemies. Now, if you go back and look at my lecture about the Council of Nicaea, you will see about the Ptolemies, and you will see how they tied in their culture with this Hellenistic ideology. This is what this is telling you. See, y'all, why does Greek culture tie in so deeply with Egyptian culture? Why is that pyramid on your dollar? That's what I'm trying to teach y'all here today. It's not hard to see. Rome never died, y'all. Rome just hid itself, and it went into government. Like, for all of y'all that don't know, you in Rome right now. The United States is Rome. Christianity was founded under the Vatican. It's all the Roman Church, y'all. It's all Rome that we in today. We in a Hellenistic society. I don't know if you can read the screen, but don't worry about it. I'm going to read it to you anyway. All you got to do is go on Google and put in Hellenistic Period, and this will come up for you on Wikipedia. Let me read it to you right quick. This is just a little bit more information about Hellenism. It say the Hellenistic period covers the period of ancient Greek, Hellenic history, and Mediterranean history between the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC and the emergence of the Roman Empire as signified by the Battle of Actium in 31 BC and the subsequent conquest of Ptolemaic Egypt the following year. So y'all, what am I telling you? If you look at this, Alexander was ruling during the 300s. That was before Christ. Now what you got to remember so you don't get confused with the time frame here is that during this time, the Roman Empire was counting time backwards. So keep that in mind. So if it was 323 BC one year, the next year would have been 322 BC, and the next year would have been 321 BC. So during this time, for some foolish reason, Rome was counting time backwards during these years. Now, when they got back to zero, that would have been AD, which doesn't mean after death. AD means aqua domini, which means the year of our Lord. That's Latin for year of our Lord. So for all Christians that think AD mean after death, the Latin meaning means in the year of our Lord, meaning Jesus would have supposedly been living during the AD period. Why is that important? Because Rome was counting time backwards during this time with Alexander. And when they got down to zero, they started counting it up again, and that's when you entered the AD period with the Ptolemies that I've described to you in the Council of Nicaea video. So the Ptolemies came along with Jesus, but I'm going to show you some of the gods that the Hellenistic people had, and you will see they the same gods that the Christians got today, and that the people who was conquered back by the Ptolemies in Egypt had, and even before Christianity. Rome is really a state of mind. It's really a world power, y'all. When you think about Rome, we in Rome right now over here in America. Most of the world has a Roman mentality. So this thing is powerful, y'all, and it's got the world's spirituality in chaos. Now let me get to you back with this Hellenism and show y'all this foolishness that we under today. And remember what I said about the timeline. They was counted down and they started counted back up again. That's why I say between the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC and the emergence of the Roman Empire as signified by the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. So you went from 323 BC to 31 BC because they was count time down. That's important to know, y'all. See, Christians don't want to go through all of this, y'all. They don't want to go through all of this research to free their mind. They rather just believe the foolishness, believe all of this foolishness, and I'm breaking it down to y'all right here, showing you the knowledge and the facts so y'all don't have to hoop and holler and go through all that fear tactics and spookism about a red dragon and some burning fire. I'm showing you what Hellenism is, what hell is. You in hell right now. Now let me keep on going right here so I can free your mind. Check this out. It says, at this time, Greek cultural influence and power was at its peak in Europe, Africa, and Asia, experiencing prosperity and progress in the arts, exploration, literature, theater, architecture. Basically, y'all, Greek at this time was thriving. So they was coming from this little separated state phase to a world power to be reckoned with. And they was going around putting their foot down, forcing Hellenism on the world. Now, there's many different names for Hellenism. Christianity is one of them. But let's keep on going with this. But y'all, this right here is the Hellenistic period. I'm taking you back. I'm giving you some rare information right here. During this time right here, y'all, this was before Serapis. Now, I'm taking you back further than Serapis now if you saw my Council of Nicaea video. So, I'm taking you back further than Serapis on this one, y'all. I'm taking you to BC on this one. This is some good information. Now, check this out. It says, it is often considered a period of transition, sometimes even of decadence or degeneration compared to the brilliance of the Greek classical era. The Hellenistic period saw the rise of new comedy, Alexandrian poetry, the Septuagint, and the philosophies of Stoicism and Epicureanism. Greek science was advanced by the works of the mathematician Euclid and the polymath Archimedes. The religious spirit expanded to include new gods, such as the Greco-Egyptian Serapis, Eastern deities such as Attis and Cybele, and the Greek adoption of Buddhism. Now check this out. This would see how all of these religions got their birth out of Hellenism? Don't that ought to tell y'all something? That all of these religions come from Hellenism. Think about that now. If you saw my Council of Nicaea video, I spoke about Serapis. This is right here, y'all, is how all of this stuff gets started, even the Roman Vatican. This is BC. We're talking about during the time and death of Alexander's reign. This is Hellenistic period. Now let's move on and get some more information. Okay, let me read some more information to you about Hellenistic culture, y'all. It say, the Hellenistic world is that world that was created after the conquest of the Near East by Alexander the Great at the end of the 4th century BC, and his conquest which extended from India all the way through Egypt. Y'all, we talking Europe, Asia, Egypt, India. We talking world conquest, y'all. And you think the Roman Empire just faded away. No, they conquered the world. You still in Rome today. Look at all of these religions that come from Hellenism. Can't y'all tie the knots together? I'm trying my best to free your mind. Help me out a little bit. Now let's read some more. It said, and his conquest, which extended from India all the way through Egypt, was divided into 3 main areas within 20 years after his death. And the 2 major areas that survived down to the 1st century BC would have been the Syrian kingdom, the Seleucid kingdom, and the Ptolemaic kingdom, which survived in Egypt, which was finally taken over by Rome in 31 BC. What did I tell y'all? Look at them kingdoms. And you still in the Ptolemaic kingdom today. They telling you these kingdoms went away or was conquered. These lands you own today, how you think they get their power? You think a bunch of Indians just came around and said, we want y'all to take over? I'm showing you how all of this stuff happened way back in history. See, most of y'all history only go back a little bit. Most of you never heard about Hellenistic culture, but you use the word hell every day. Most of you live in a city called Helena. Your name probably Hellen, but you don't even know this information. Stay with me, let me free your mind. It say, what was the language and culture of the Hellenistic world? The language and culture of the Hellenistic world was Greek. And there were several Greek languages. You're speaking one of them today, and French is another one. Why do you think the Africans over there speak French? Why, I just told you AD is Latin for the year of our Lord, and the words at the bottom of the cross in the Bible was what? Latin. I'm trying to tie all of this stuff together and show y'all the truth now. You got to put the puzzle pieces back together yourself. Now read this. It say, that became the lingua franca of all these subject peoples. That's what I'm telling y'all. When Greek spread its culture throughout the world, it variated just like any other culture would. And you had various forms of Greek culture, from France to Europe to Italy to Rome to, it's so many forms of it. But one of the first forms that started all of these forms, including Christianity, come from Hellenistic culture. And you can read it right there at the top, up under the word Hellenistic culture. Let me read it to you right here. If you read right here, guess what that say? It say the influence of Greek language, philosophy, and culture on Jews and early Christians. So all of y'all get y'all history from Hellenism. Let me keep going with you so I can free your minds, y'all. So let's look at some different forms of how the Hellenism culture impacts society. And when I tell you that we still practicing Hellenism today, what you just learned is that Hellenism is basically the defeat of any people under Greco-Roman Empire. That includes most of the world, especially you Christians. I mean, y'all banging for that Vatican, baby. Even though y'all don't want to claim that, it's a part of y'all history. You can't untie them. So you're practicing Hellenism. Now, what are we looking at in front of the screen? Origin of name Hellen. Everybody knows somebody named Hellen or heard of it. So let's get some information on where that name come from. It comes from Hellenism, what I'm telling you right now. The name Hellen is a Greek baby name. In Greek, the meaning of the name Hellen is shining light, the bright one, Helen of Troy, whose elopement or whatever with Paris sparked the Trojan War, was the daughter of Zeus. Zeus is where you get Jesus from. So I'm showing you where all of these gods come from. It all originated from Hellenism. This is the root of it. You can go and see the Council of Nicaea video that I made and see how I'm telling you how Jesus come from Zeus. And you can tie all of these knots together with your own research. But I just wanted to show you this Hellen right here because everybody knows somebody named Hellen but never probably knew where it originated from. And since I'm doing this lecture on Hellenism, I had to throw that in there. So let's move on. Here's another word that derived from the Hellenistic culture. We all know the word hell itself is also another word that derived from this culture. Christians still use it, and also Christians still use all of the ancient Hellenistic gods. They just call them Jesus today and Buddha, like we just read in the previous part of the video. But now here's another word derivation of the term Hellen or Hellenization or Hellenist. Hellenization, let's read, is the historical spread of ancient Greek culture. Simple, y'all. That's all Hellenization is. It's the historical spread of ancient Greek culture and to a lesser extent language over 40 peoples. Look at what they say about Hellenization. And y'all telling me we ain't been Hellenized? Everybody that's looking at this screen right now, I'm telling you out of my mouth, you cannot deny what I'm about to say. You have been Hellenized. Especially if you're a Christian, you practice Hellenization heavily. Now read what this say. Everybody know Rome conquered the world. Why we foolish thinking Rome just fell out of magic, out of mystery? Rome just went away after all that power. You still in Rome and it's still ruling under the Vatican. Now check this word out. Hellenization is the historical spread of ancient Greek culture and to a lesser extent language over foreign peoples conquered by Greece or brought into its sphere or influence. Anything that touches Greece basically becomes Hellenized. And y'all know we the most Hellenized culture on the planet over here in America. Now stay with me, let me free y'all minds so y'all can stop being Hellenized. You don't think we over here in a Hellenistic culture and we ain't being Hellenized every day with this Christianity and all of this foolishness over here. You just go to Google and put in Barack and Pope. Why you want to put that in? Because if you see the connection between this land and the Vatican, you will see that this state ain't even no nation. It's a union. That's why it's called a United States of America. All nations got real power figures. We got a president over here. McDonald's got a president. Ford Company got a president. Mercedes got a president. Burger King got a president. All nations got a prime minister, a king, a queen, or some recognizable form of power that way. Over here in this union state we got a president, and y'all think this a nation. This ain't no nation, it's a corporation that's ruled under the Vatican, that's got y'all all Hellenized and trapped in this Hellenistic culture, blind because you refuse to see. You don't want to give up that Greek god Zeus and get out of this Hellenistic society, because you want to shake hands with these people just like this dude doing. All of y'all love Barack. You said power to the people. Well, he's supposed to be helping so-called blacks out. Well, why he helping this man Hellenize y'all then? We got to get back to nature, because right now y'all in a Hellenistic society and I'm trying to get you out of it. We being Hellenized. Now let me show you some more stuff. Y'all look at here, man. Y'all go to church every day. Y'all worship that symbol. That's a symbol of death, y'all. Look at this dude, man. Do he look like he got the answers for your soul? Come on, use discernment. Go inside of your own spirit and ask yourself these questions. Listen to what I'm telling you here today. I'm trying to get y'all out of this Hellenistic society, man. Christianity is a form of Hellenism, y'all. And you cannot believe me all you want, but it's the truth. And your soul is going to be the one hurting in the end. Now, I'm trying to snatch you out of this foolishness, y'all, that they got y'all under this ghost spell. Now, stay with me. Go on there and look at all this craziness on here. Y'all call people like me the Antichrist. This who the Antichrist is. This who all of y'all Christians being led by, being fooled by, whether you want to claim it or not. You can say it's Jesus all you want to, but these people know the truth just like I know the truth. Y'all souls being led astray and y'all being Hellenized, and this is who you under, Christians. I do these videos because I love y'all, and I'm telling you the truth is the only thing set you free. This is the truth that I'm showing you. You can't argue with this. You can go into belief all you want to, but I'm showing you about Hellenistic culture that you didn't know about. That's where you get the word hell from. Hell ain't no place where fire burning. Hell is right here on earth. Hell is a state of mind. It's you not knowing the truth about yourself and the universe and giving it to all of these idols and pagan worship that these folks got y'all fooled by and blind, man. I'm trying to get y'all out of this Hellenistic culture. Now stay with me. Let's learn some more about Hellenism. Let's talk about some more word derivations concerning Hellenism. Now I'm from Alabama, and there was a city in Alabama named Helena. And it comes from the term Hellenism. For people in Alabama who live in Helena, your city is named after this evil practice called Hellenism. Now let's read it. It say, in English, the meaning of the name Helena is, in mythology, the abduction of Zeus' moral daughter Hellen. See what I'm telling y'all? I just read the Hellen to you. This telling you about Zeus. I just told you about Zeus and Jesus. Now y'all can tie these knots together better than me, some of you. Use y'all brain and start thinking. When they get you to believing, it stops you from thinking. But the moment you stop believing and start questioning a little bit, you will free your mind. Why you think the Bible tell you don't question nothing? Because it want to keep you a fool. You got to be brave. It's for your soul's sake. Now get this knowledge. It ain't going to hurt you. I'm telling you, ain't no hell out there under no ground, no fire. Hell is your state of mind. You believe in this foolishness, this crap. Now read that yourself. It's telling you that's the Shakespearean meaning. We all know he had a role in help writing the Bible too. But we'll get into that in another lecture. I just wanted to show you about Helena. Now, this is city of Helena in Alabama. That's named after this evil practice. And here goes a city right here in Montana that's named after this evil practice. For you people that live in Birmingham, Alabama, there's also a Birmingham, England. So I'm showing you the connection between all of this stuff that we still in Rome, y'all. Rome never died. You still in Hellenism. You still in hell. Now the term hell, you can Google that yourself and do all of this research yourself. Look up the word hell. Look up Hellenistic Greece and Hellenism. And you Christians, start freeing your mind. Get this knowledge and understanding. It tell you that in your own Bible. Seek for wisdom and understanding. Won't y'all pay attention to it? Now I'm trying to free your mind, but I need your help also. I'm trying to get y'all out of Hellenism. Now you can also go on history.com and they got an awesome little bit of short video on Hellenistic Greece. I won't play but a little bit of it for you because I don't have much time here today. Here's a lot of more information with you about Hellenism and Hellenistic Greece. I suggest and encourage you to go on history.com for yourself and look at this article and look at the video just like I did, and it'll tell you a little bit more about Hellenistic Greece. I won't get into the full thing, but I will point out some stuff to y'all. Basically, I'm going to skip through and I'm going to show you that we're going to talk architecture. Look at the structure right there. This is Hellenistic Greece structures, y'all. Why am I pulling this up? Now, you can go on history.com and pull it up for yourself. Why am I pulling it up? Because you can see the structures that they built in Hellenistic Greece. That look just like the White House. That tell you we still in Rome, y'all. We still in hell. Literally, not no doggone lake of fire. We in Hellenistic Greece, y'all. I just read to you all of this knowledge in the beginning. Now you can go back and research it yourself and tell me if we ain't practicing Hellenism, especially y'all Christians. Now I'm trying to free your mind. It's time for the ignorance to stop. Now look at this in front of your face. This is some of the architecture that they built in Hellenistic Greece. And look at some of the architecture that we got in America today. And tell me we don't get our society and practices from Hellenism. Ain't nothing changed, y'all. Now free your mind. I can't make this a long lecture. I just wanted to basically introduce y'all to Hellenism because the world been practicing Hellenism, y'all, for years and don't even know it. So I'm trying to get y'all out there. Just throw the information out there where you can research it on your own. Here goes some of the Hellenistic gods right here. Art of the Hellenistic age and the Hellenistic tradition that we still under today. Look at some of them gods. I'm going to show you one that really going to blow your mind. Look at that one. Don't that look like Serapis? Don't that look like Jesus? See, all Jesus is baby Zeus, y'all. That's all he is. Ain't none of them real. They all Greek mythology and Hellenistic tradition that we still practicing. I'm trying to free the minds of you Christians because I love you. Now, if you look at all these gods, all of these nations in the world that's practicing these foolish religions can find one of them gods up there that look like a god that they worshiping, because the Roman Vatican got the whole world practicing Hellenism. Now go online and look at some of this stuff yourself. And here goes some more information about Hellenism. They call this man Alexander the Great. Wasn't nothing great about that man. How you gonna make me call somebody great? He wasn't great to all the people he killed, but yet they got your kids calling him great in school. Should just call him Alexander the Greek. He was a Greek. Wasn't nothing great about that man. They went around the world putting this Hellenistic culture on the whole planet. And the whole planet still blind today practicing Hellenism. Divided and conquered. Separated amongst each other. No love in your hearts. So quick to hate because all you know is Hellenism. I'm trying to free your mind and your soul. Now, I ain't got all day to preach this stuff to you. I'm giving you the information. Go out there and learn about Hellenism for yourself and tell me if the world ain't still under Hellenism. Tell me if Christianity ain't a form of Hellenism. Do this research for yourself and your spirit will let you know what's right. Now, I do this because I love y'all Christians, and I'm tired of seeing y'all practice Hellenism. We profit nothing from practicing this Hellenistic tradition of blood sacrifice and human sacrifice and all of this stuff, man, what the Bible talking about. It's Hellenism. Now go back through these videos I'm putting out here and free your mind. Go through this channel and get this information and go out there and research it for yourself and put this knowledge out there to the people. And let's wake the planet up, y'all, and let's do something about the planet and about our spirits. Now, this brother Sanchez speaking to the people, and I love y'all, man. I sincerely love y'all. Peace and thanks for watching.